Hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. Birthday weekend is continuing. I'm enjoying a nice glass of wine, reading cards, had a great spa day. All right, so I'm using the Bohemian fortune telling cards. You know we got the gossip on the table. All right, so. I just did the reading that Lady C said somebody within the palace, they didn't say the royal family, the palace is accepting money in exchange for information on the royal family to the Flopples. I did the cards. Her intel is correct. There is somebody. So then we tried to suss out who it was, and it looks like it's a higher ranking military member, a uniformed member, something to do with the horses, somebody they trust implicitly. Honestly, that's my first glass of wine. I said, I'm going to go pour wine and read cards. It's somebody that they trust. They're going to be extremely heartbroken. It's somebody who's new in the position. So it's not somebody new to the royal family or the firm, but they're in a new position. I dare whispered William's new equerry. It's somebody who knows William and Harry, somebody who would be comfortable talking to Harry, or Harry ringing up and saying, psst, needs money. So it's somebody that Harry would be comfortable with talking with. So it's somebody maybe perhaps he was in the military with. So anyways, I got the gossip cards here. Is the royal family on to this person? What do they think that there's a person? I mean, it's the coincidence that Meghan is pulling this crap on significant days that the royal family has something tells you all you need to know. She's not that lucky. She's just really not that lucky. But she is that conniving. So let's see, what does the royal family gossip have to say about this? What does the royal family gossip have to say about this? About, do they have a clue who it is? Are they investigating it? Are they leaving it to the palace? What's going on with this mole in the palace? Cards are ready. Death! Well, it did show the tower in the reading. This guy is done. Done. Fortune, yeah, there he is. Getting his money. Getting his money's worth. He's making lots of money, that's for sure. So perhaps he's, at the end of his career and he figures, what the hell? Let's pad the retirement fund, honey. Soldier in reverse. The cards were right. It is a soldier. It is a military person. It is, and also this is my card, my Harry card. So it's a soldier that Harry worked with, and he actually thinks he's walked into a jackpot. Perhaps he's been guaranteed he won't be found out. The card said he will be found out. Journey. Look at on the horses again. Do the equerries ride horses? Thief. There. Oh my God. These cards just blow my mind how accurate they are. I should just exclusively use gossip cards. Widower. You know who's a widower? And the cards, we keep forgetting. Charles. Longing in reverse. Harry wants back. Harry wants back so bad. Let's see, I want to make sure all those fit in there. Let's squish them in a bit. You don't need to see my birthday candles. All right, what's the underlying? Misfortune. Look at the tower in reverse. I had tower in reverse in the other reading. You know what? When I do the same type of information, two completely different sets of cards, and they confirm each other, you get goosebumps. You get confirmation. You can be solid on this information. Both sets of cards, I did tarot cards and now gossip cards or gypsy cards. Basically the same question, exactly the same answers. How can you argue with that? How can you argue with that? Okay. This guy is going to be found out and he's done. He's going to be done. He is actually thief, widower, longing. Perhaps him himself is a widower or divorced, right? You have to remember back when gypsy cards, people weren't divorced. The only way you got out of a marriage was death. Just ask good old King Henry. The only person I can think is a widower is actually Charles. But the card said it was William. Maybe the cards were just saying, because I said it's not somebody who knows Charles. We didn't get King of Cups. We didn't get the Emperor. So maybe I'm wrong here about the widower. Maybe this is Harry. Maybe Harry is already divorced or separated and this longing to come back. I'm trying to think who else is. Andrew? The cards are very clear. It's somebody who knows William and Harry. Perhaps the person himself is divorced. Maybe that's it. Because widower to me is somebody who's divorced or widowed. Widower. It's somebody to do with horses. For this guy, once they find out, he's a goner. But yeah, look at, he's ending things with a pile of money. He got the 9 of Pentacles of great success and lots of money. It is definitely a military member or somebody in a uniform who has gone rogue. Somebody to do with horses. That was very clear. Here's the Tower in reverse. I don't know what more to say. Let's see if we can figure out who this widower is. Let's see if they'll give us more information. Clarify this widower, please. Clarify this widower. Clarify this widower, please. Clarify. So widower, there's a widow in this deck as well. So this is definitely a male who is no longer with their mate. Hey, mate. Widower. Clarify this widower. The thief, well, we know they're stealing information. We don't have to clarify that. We don't have to clarify misfortune. They're bringing on their misfortune themselves. And this death here, let's see, what do we got? Clarify this widower. Malady. So it's somebody who's been hurt on duty. Somebody with PTSD, I'm thinking. Clarify more, please. Clarify more. Clarify more, please. Thought. I wonder if it's somebody who blames the royal family for their situation. You know, for king and country. Guess what, king? I lost the love of my life. I have PTSD. I think this person has PTSD. I think if anything, they're going to claim, because look at even the thought, he's pointing at his head, the bandage around the head, and widower. I bet it's somebody who's lost his marriage. I don't think the person actually passed away. I get somebody who's lost their marriage due to PTSD or some such thing. Longing. So it's the theft of information. So I think this is more telling us who the person is. They took the information, they stole the information. What's this longing here? What's this longing? Clarify the longing, please. Clarify the longing. I'm wondering if this is somebody who worked with Harry in Afghanistan. Journey and misfortune. He had his misfortune. He's a soldier, had his misfortune there, and I'm wondering if he's going to claim his PTSD. But why in the world would the royal family or the palace hire him with knowing he has PTSD? Now, don't get me wrong. I know lots of people with PTSD. That doesn't mean they're incapable. It doesn't mean they're incompetent. It just also means, oh, they're vulnerable. And in a high security situation like that, a high trust, you can't have somebody who is vulnerable. Whether it's vulnerable to alcohol, to drugs, to, um, you know, so many of them relapse. PTSD is a terrible, terrible affliction. And I wouldn't wish it on anybody. For what I've said many times, I used to work as a civilian at Canadian Forces Base Edmonton, and I worked in the MIR, the medical unit there, and we specifically worked with PTSD patients. So that's how I know so much about it. And they're vulnerable. It doesn't take a lot to set them off. To be like a tire blowing and that boom sound, and they'll spiral down. So it's not that they're incapable, it's not that they're incompetent, it's not that they're less than, don't get me wrong. But if they do have some type of PTSD, they're vulnerable, extremely vulnerable. They can be a loose cannon, and sometimes it doesn't really even take much. It might take, missing a day of their medication, or like I said, a tire blowing and just the sound of it, or, fireworks. It doesn't take a lot. So I'm wondering, why in the world would they hire somebody in a high stakes security system like that? Now, that also being said, the Canadian government has a veterans priority hiring. So perhaps the palace does as well, have a veterans priority hiring. But they would have gone through the medical, right? You'd have to do a medical. What's this longing here? Is it longing to belong? Is it longing to get the king's attention, what you've done for the country and the king? And the cards did say it's somebody in a new position. So perhaps they've, been in the military for a long time. They've actually retired out of the military, and now they're in this new position as a vet, which would still classify them to the cards as military. House, longing house. Somebody wanted to belong. Somebody wanted to belong. Somebody wanted to get in close. Somebody wanted to get in close. Money. There, boom, mic drop. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Hope. Now, see, hope he's not found out. According to the cards, he will be, sadly, or, great, but I think he's going to lose his job. He's going to have money, but he's not going to have much else. So it's the longing for money that he's willing to soil all his record. Interesting. Absolutely fascinating. Blows my mind when this happens. I've been doing this for I don't know how many decades, and still blows my mind when it happens. Hope springs eternal. Thank you very much. YouTube's going to show you a video perhaps you haven't seen. Why don't you click on that, and I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching. Take good care. Bye for now.